minutes. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin from here. And Ghana's embattled former Finance Minister Ofori Atta will get to know his fate over attempts to extradite him to Ghana by April 27, 2026. Mr. Ofori Atta appeared before a United States Immigration Court in Virginia on Tuesday, January 20, 2026, as proceedings continue over his immigration status. The hearing followed his detention in the U.S. after Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE arrested him on January 6th. U.S. authorities are arguing that the former finance minister no longer has lawful status to remain in the country after the revocation of his visitor visa. During the proceedings at the Anadale Immigration Court, counsel for Ofori Atta requested that both the bond hearing and the related master calendar hearing be closed to the public, citing the sensitive nature of issues expected to be raised. Right, so those are sounds from day 2 of the Arise Ghana protests at the U.S. Embassy in Accra as protesters continue to mount pressure on authorities to expedite the return of former Finance Minister Ofori Atta. Security has been beefed up with more police visibility and barricades to prevent a crossover towards the interior of the embassy. Let's now connect with my colleague Christian Yale, who is at the American Embassy. Now, Yale, paint a full picture of the atmosphere and situation where you are.
All right, Grace. Right now, the protesters have crossed the road and are just in front of the American Embassy. Earlier, there were barricades mounted to prevent them from crossing over the road to the other side. But right now, they've just crossed the road. However, the police are ensuring that they do not go further inside the interior of the embassy. And so that is the situation currently here in front of the U.S. Embassy. Let me try to give you some sight and sound of what is happening here. And so that is the situation. It is a rapturous call that they are making today that the American authorities, as a matter of urgency, bring back Ofori Atta, so that the U.S. authorities in somewhat reluctant in doing this, and with what happened yesterday in court with this case to be heard again later in April on the 27th day of that month, they feel that there is something that should be done. There must be an urgent action now, and that is the demand they are making. In fact, there are more numbers today after what we saw yesterday, and the police have also beefed up security here with more police officers who have come around to protect this area to ensure that there is law and order. And so the protest continues, and it is very likely that they'll do a march, they'll embark on a march around the embassy today.
All right, Christian, have you been able to engage any of them on their impressions so far, the proceedings yesterday when the finance minister appeared before the U.S. Immigration Court?
Exactly. So, we can make that as part of our attempt to engage with them. You are live on 3FM. You're live on 3FM. What do you make of so far your protest and how things went yesterday?
Well, we have to work the phone lines again and connect to my colleague Christian Yale, who has been talking to us about the second day of the Arise Ghana protest. We are also working the phone to engage legal practitioner John Kwesing on the proceedings so far. He has been talking to us even before the proceedings on how he sees the issue turn around, and we're working the phone to connect with him. When we are able to do We'll bring you the full the compliments of that entire conversation. But still on extradition, though, the former Chief Executive Officer of the Microfinance and Small Loan Center, Maslog Sedina Tamaklatunu, is also expected to appear before a U.S. court today to determine whether she will be extradited to Ghana. Tamaklatunu was arrested by the U.S. Marshals following an extradition request made by the Ghanaian government in 2024. According to Ambassador Victor Smith, officials of the Ghanaian government and the embassy have so far not been allowed to visit her since her arrest, although the reason for the restriction remain unclear. And to other stories now, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has opened nominations to select a new parliamentary candidate for the upcoming by-election scheduled to take place in the Ayawasi East constituency following the death of the sitting MP Nazature Mahama. According to the party's General Secretary Fifi Fiavi Kwete, in a statement, nomination forms will cost 500,000 cedis, with aspirants required to pay a filing fee of 40,000 cedis. Female aspirants and persons living with disabilities will receive a 50% reduction. Nominations open on Saturday, January 24, and close on Tuesday, January 27. Vetting, balloting, and appeals are scheduled for Wednesday, January 28, with elections set for Saturday, February 7. The party says the official delegates list will be released only after payment into its official bank account, adding that checks and bankers' drafts will not be accepted. Let's go to the constituency because my colleague, Noel Crosby Annan, is at NIMA, the heartbeat of the constituency, and he is engaging some constituents there. Crosby, grateful for your time. If you can tell us what you have where you are.
Grace, I'm having a hard time hearing you, but I am, as we speak, at the Ayawasi East constituency. I am in the constituency. And this is a constituency that has become the stronghold of the NDC. It's a constituency that the NDC considers a stronghold. And the constituency is preparing for the by-election on March 3. But before that, the NDC will have to hold a primary here to elect somebody on the ticket of the party before the March 3 date. And that election is going to be held on February 7th, according to a directive from the party. Now, this is what will happen. This is a contest between largely three persons. Two are former parliamentary aspirants in the constituency. I'm talking about Ofori Atta Ablakwa, who is a former ambassador to Nigeria. There's also Dr. Azindo. Dr. Azindo has also contested this seat in the primaries before. Now, the new name that we're seeing is the wife of the late Hajiam Amina Adam, is the third name. So this is a contest. This is a contest that will be between these three people. But the opinions are diverse. People are sharing different views. People want to vote based on different expectations, but they are all very eager to elect a parliamentary candidate so that they can go into the March 3 election and hopefully keep the seat in the name of the NDC.
Crosby, we also know that the name of the wife of the deceased MP has also come up in all of these conversations. Did you pick any such thing on the ground? What is the sentiment around her?
Well, Grace, this is largely a contest that will be between delegates. So the delegates are, they're talking among themselves, convincing each other on who to vote for, who not to vote for, what to look out for, what not to look out for. So I'm not seeing full-blown campaign activity yet, but I mean, it is ongoing because it's an internal election of the party. It is definitely ongoing, Grace.
Right, Crosby, and just paint for us a picture in the constituency. We know the election is slated for some months from now. What do you feel in the constituency?
Well, it's regular here in the Ayawasi constituency. Everything is going as is. In the Nima area right now, business is ongoing regularly. Maybe because they think March 3 is a little further away. We have to go through February before we enter into March. So it's a reason why we're not seeing hardcore campaign activity yet. And that is also maybe because we do not have a parliamentary candidate for the MDC, neither do we have a parliamentary candidate for the NPP. So the main campaign activity for the main election on March 3 is yet to start. But the constituency is as we expect it to be. Business and going as usual. It's a very busy constituency. So you know what I'm talking about, Grace.
Right. Nima is a place that is very busy, whether there's an activity or event or not. We'll definitely come back to you, Crosby, and get more when you have it. My colleague, Noble Crosby, Annan, updating us from the Ayawaso constituency on preparations towards the NDC's by-election or primaries to take place later in March. But let me just run you through what the party's General Secretary Fifi Kwete in a statement mentioned. And he says that nomination forms will cost 5,000 Ghana cedis, with aspirants required to pay a filing fee of 40,000 cedis. If you are joining us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and the others, you will see the projection of the fees on our screen as well as other information. And so it says that nomination forms will cost 5,000 Ghana cedis, with aspirants required to pay a filing fee of 40,000 cedis. Female aspirants and persons living with disabilities will receive a 50% reduction. Also, the nominations to open on Saturday, January 24, and close on Tuesday, January 27. That is like 3 days. The vetting, balloting, and appeals will be scheduled for Wednesday, January 28, with elections set for Saturday, February 7. So that's the NDC primaries on February 7 before it will escalate or move on into March, where we'll have the primaries itself. Now, the party says the official delegates list will be released only after payment into its official bank account, adding that checks and bankers' draft will not be accepted. And so if you have any interest in picking forms to contest in the Ayawaso by-election, this is the time. The window is almost open. It is opening tomorrow, January 24. On Saturday, January 24, pick that form and let's see your chances in that. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's move away from that and talk about the fight against illegal mining. And this time, a member of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat Task Force, NAIMOS, has been shot during a routine anti-galamsey operation in the Bono region, while one armed assailant was killed in an exchange of gunfire. In a press statement issued on Tuesday night, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources said the incident occurred in a bush along the Subin Krom Tremasu stretch in the Doma Central Municipality of the Bono region. The ministry said the armed thugs who were hiding in the bushes opened fire on sighting the NAIMOS task force. We have Pakwesi Shandov, spokesperson of NAIMOS, on the phone for a conversation. Mr. Shandov, thank you for your time. Talk to us about your activities in the last days, especially in the regions. We know you've been to the Ashanti and the Eastern regions. Talk to us about these activities.
Well, so from December up to now, NAIMOS has been mounting a lot of operations across all the relevant flashpoints, where galamsey is very prominent, vis-a-vis the Eastern region, the Bono, Western, North, Central, and some parts of the Ashanti enclave in that regard. The incident that has become the item of conversation today is one that we describe as very unfortunate, because the ambushing in particular was one that the team did not necessarily anticipate, in as much as we knew that, we know that consistently the NAIMOS operations are often disrupted. We did not see this one coming. But as I speak to you, the incident has not in any way affected the zeal of the team. Indeed, they are still on the grounds, and in due course, we will communicate the outcome of the ongoing operations in the Bono region.
And do we have an update on the member who was shot? Is the person responding to treatment? What is the latest?
Absolutely. He was shot in the thigh. The bullet simply went through. It didn't cause any permanent damage or havoc. And so the treatment outcomes and results so far have been very impressive. We are hoping that very soon, in the not too distant future, he will recover, recuperate, and then join the team to continue with the execution of their mandate.
The brazen nature of these illegal miners, don't you think it is time for NAIMOS to also adopt a new strategy, or let's say man up to these illegal miners? We know that you want to use that strategy that allows for probably a platform that allows for everybody's growth. But don't you think NAIMOS should start manning up to these illegal miners? I mean, they shot a member in the thigh.
Yes, NAIMOS is manning up, but I don't want to believe that, just like others have suggested, we should now embrace the proposition to shoot and kill simply because the illegal miners are now being more combative and aggressive. Like we've always been saying, that suggestion is out of the books. The President of the Republic rules it out. Indeed, the Sector Minister, Honorable Amakufibua, also is not friendly to that suggestion, because the point is that we simply want to protect and preserve our environment, not to waste human lives. And so, in as much as the illegal miners are being obstinate and grossly combative, we do not think this is the time for us to also employ a similar approach. The strategies we have are yielding results, and so we'll just continue on that path unabated.
Going forward, what is NAIMOS doing? What should we expect? Are you doing a lot more crackdowns? What should we expect from NAIMOS?
Absolutely. The crackdowns are in full force. We are in January. Indeed, January is coming to an end. And so we have 2 more months in the first quarter of 2026. Within this period, we are hoping to fully deploy military personnel. I mean, the NAIMOS task force to all the relevant flashpoints on a permanent basis, which means that they'll be there 24 hours 7, monitoring and embarking on operations along all the water bodies that earlier we declared as security zones. And so that is in the offing. Very soon it will take shape fully, and all of us will see the outcome of that arrangement authorized by the Sector Minister, Amakufibua.
Right. Pakosi, before I let you go, tell us what the challenge of NAIMOS has been in dealing with these illegal miners. If you have to talk about maybe your top 3 challenges, what will it be?
Well, if I were to categorize the main challenges, the impediments that have bedeviled the activities of NAIMOS, I think the very first one would be, of course, the political interferences. Because like we have always been saying, the facts, like the ones that NAIMOS confronted yesterday, and the illegal miners that consistently we've been arresting, indeed we've arrested over 1,500, all of them are not the focal persons. The focal persons and the actual instigators and the principal facilitators of illegal mining are the political kingpins. They actually are the challenge. Indeed, they are the ones who interfere with most of NAIMOS' operations, and they are the real headache. And to do with such, I mean, that whole brigade of that whole network of environmental terrorists, you need a lot of tact and intellect. Again, you need the political will, which the Sector Minister has. And so we are hoping that we'll be able to navigate the situation. Also, we have a challenge with there's a challenge with resources. Yes, the government of Ghana consistently has been so supportive, committed enough resources to fund the operations of NAIMOS. But beyond the overwhelming generosity, there is still more that NAIMOS needs. There is so much more. And look, as I speak to you, NAIMOS currently, its operational outlay is in need of about some 90 pickups to boost operations. All right. Now, if even private individuals or corporate entities could, donate or support this, I'm sure it would be a welcome gesture, because government has other priorities, all of which are competing for the scarce resources. So, in as much as government is helping, I mean, there is more that has to be done. Then, lastly, because you mentioned 3, if I have to add, another challenge, which clearly is also part of our headaches, is the fact that some locals, or if like, for the want of a better word, some, I don't know how to characterize them. Let me just say DCs, some of them appear to be connected in the web. And so the deployment to be done at the headquarters in Accra, NAIMOS gets on the grounds, but some of them seem to be a little bit uninterested in the whole fight against illegal mining, obviously because they want their shares and their profits and their interests.
That also goes back to the same political interference.
Exactly, but at that level, maybe you see, so in the very first instance, the political interference is basically people at the very top across all quarters. But when it comes to the local level, naturally you expect that some of the traditional authorities and those who have been empowered by the state would be supportive. But some of them are a bit, very
reluctant.
Very I mean, just give me 30 seconds to paint a scenario for you. For example, when excavators are impounded, for instance, you would need low beds to convey them from the site and then out of the forest. There are places here in Ghana where the locals have been warned that they should not make their low beds, available for excavators to be taken out of the forest, and that when they do that, they are blacklisted in their communities. Look at a situation such as this. So some of the local authorities are not helping, but government is working around the clock, and I'm sure we'll be able to navigate all of this in the not too distant future.
Right. Pakwesi, thank you for talking to us. Pakwesi Shandoff is spokesperson for the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operation Task Force, NAIMOS. Awula Sewa is the co-founder of the Eco-Conscious Citizens, is joining us also on the phone. Awula, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm sure you've been listening in maybe to the latter part of the submission Pakwesi has been making. He says their biggest challenge as a task force in fighting illegal mining is a political interference. How do you think we can navigate through this to win the fight against illegal mining?
Good afternoon to you and your listeners. I think that once the political will is there, to fight this canker that is destroying all of us, we'll take the right steps and ensure that where there's political interference, we expose those who are interfering and deal with them. All we need right now is a political will. The president assured us whilst in opposition that they would deal with the canker. Because as I keep on saying, we're on the verge of an ecological catastrophe. We cannot go on this way. We really need to put an end to this irresponsible mining that is destroying our water bodies, poisoning our water that's entered our food chain, and decimating our forest reserves. And that's why there's a rise in kidney disease and cancers, maternal deaths, and deformed babies. So once the political will is there, we can deal with everybody who is an obstacle to resolving the situation.
Right, Awula, briefly for me, going forward, what new should we be doing to win the fight against illegal mining on all quarters?
You see, if we actually understand that we are fighting a war, the environmental terrorists have declared war on us. Even in wartime, when we poison the water bodies, it's a war crime. We need to act accordingly. Robust steps should be taken. For example, the Forestry Commission has for a paramilitary status so that they can be well equipped to fight the environmental terrorists. Recently, a forestry guard has been killed, not by an illegal miner, but a poacher. But they have put their lives on the line, and their requests have not yet been made. Then they've asked for rapid response teams close by. So the NAIMOS can focus on the other areas. But they must need to be better resourced. It's unfortunate that one NAIMOS officer has been killed. This is just not good enough. And our condolences to the family, and I hope that it's well looked after. But this should not be happening. NAIMOS needs to be better equipped. And that is why we have asked for a targeted state of emergency. So we'll pull all our resources together and fight this canker. So we are going about it. I'm not quite sure that within 5 years we'd have tackled it. And time is running out. Declare a targeted state of emergency.
Right.
Release your Army, Air Force, Navy. The Navy can be patrolling our water body and deal with this canker.
Okay.
It's a war that is going on, and we cannot behave as if it's, it's a war. We need to act as if we're in a wartime situation.
Right. Awula, thank you for talking to us. Awula Sewa, co-founder of Eco-Conscious Citizens, talking to us about the Galamsey fight in the country. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. Let's go to the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, because its chairman, Alfred Okudjeto, has countered remarks by minority seeking the removal of Samuel Okudjeto as Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister. He explained that the Foreign Affairs Minister is actively working working with developing partners to create more jobs, which are yielding results. He further added that the decision by Donald Trump has no bearing on his actions, and therefore the call by the minority is heeding to the call by the minority is doing a disservice to the country, because as far as they are concerned, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudjeto Ablakwa, is delivering on all the target he has been given by President John Dramani Mahama, and even doing more. Let's listen to him and connect to my colleague George Quainim, who was at this press briefing by the minority.
The statement, there were two focus areas. The issue about U.S. and 75 countries about immigrant visa processing, and the issue about ORA, the alleged 21 billion that will be recovered through, the ORA activities. Gentlemen of the press, when we think of the issue about the U.S. immigrant visas, U.S. has made a decision that includes Ghana on immigrant visas, 75 countries. So why would my deputy ranking member conclude that Ghana is affected because of the activities of the Foreign Affairs Minister, Honorable?
Right, so you had the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Alfred Okovandapoy. My colleague George Quaining sat through that presser. George, what do we know about this presser?
Oh, Grace, thank you so much. So this is actually 24 hours after the minority had their press conference. That was yesterday. And they actually set the record straight. The Secretary Minister, Okudjeto Ablakwa, is a man of good works. If we talk about the passport services, it has improved tremendously. These, among others, are what the Foreign Affairs Committee chairman is planning on, to tell Ghanaians that whatever the MPP said, they should treat it with contempt. They should not take anything in their seriously, and their comments are misguided. The president should continue working with the Secretary Minister to reset the Ghana. That is what should be paramount, and not lies that are, not true about the minister. The minister is doing so well when it comes to creating more jobs. He's doing that. He's going outside to bring more investment. And so this is not the time for us to call him from his office. He should continue doing the good work. Grace.
Right. We know that the minority also made some claims, some demands from the presidency. Did Dr. Vanderpoel respond to any of this?
Grace, I can't hear you.
So the minority asked the president to remove the Foreign Affairs Minister. Was there a response to this?
So what the Vanderpoel said is, this is not the time for us to remove him, because I'm actually doing a good work. His passport service, whatever, have improved tremendously. So for us to say he should go is a disservice to the nation. So he's the best man for the job, and so he should continue being there, and the president should continue working with him.
Right. George, thank you for bringing us those updates. George Quaining, my colleague, with the updates there. Let's bring the bulletin up north, where the Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale, Alhaji Adam Abu Takoro, has begun series of engagement with drivers and transport union leaders across key stations in the Tamale metropolis to ensure that the recent reduction in fuel prices benefit commuters. The mayor, during the visit, appealed to drivers and union executives, including the regional chairman and general secretary of the GPRTU, to reduce fares in response to the lower fuel costs. He emphasized that fare adjustment would help ease the economic burden on workers, traders, students, and everybody who rely on transportation daily. Let's listen to the mayor.
As the fuel prices has reduced as well, and you still maintain this one for 4 years, at least. So even if you offer luxury services, at least some little bit of reduction should be realized in the current prices. So that is why we are here this afternoon, just to appeal to you to help us to help the people of Tamale, because they are complaining a lot. Most of them patronize your services. But their challenge is the price. And this price has made a lot of them to even switch to other companies, which they don't like it because they would like to be with you people. So as a local authority leader, I'm here this morning just to plead to see how best you can adjust it upon your luxury services.
But I'll show you something here to check it.
So Metropolitan Chief Executive of Tamale, Alhaji Adam Abu Takoro, ending the midday news on 3FM 92.7, came to you live from our studios here at Adisawe, Kanda, Accra. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. Michael Ogbedu is standing by to bring us the latest from the world of business. Don't go away.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana trains stakeholders following Bank of Ghana's release of guidelines for non-interest banking and finance.
Equip all the banks and as well some regulators who are here like the SEC and the rest. And the purpose is to equip them to understand what the non-interest banking and finance is.
Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors reveals that gold for oil policy stabilizes markets and boosts forex access.
There isn't any cause for alarm for us to be scared of forex availability or inadequacy.
I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story now. To ensure a smooth implementation of the transition of the proposed non-interest banking and finance, the Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana has begun an intensive training program for key stakeholders, including bank executives, legal experts, and regulators. The landscape of the Ghanaian financial sector is set for a significant transformation as the Bank of Ghana officially released the much-anticipated guidelines for non-interest banking and finance. The new regulatory framework provides a roadmap for both standalone non-interest banks and conventional banks wishing to operate non-interest windows. The move, according to Director General of Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana, Dr. Shaibu Ali, is designed to promote financial inclusion and provide ethical banking alternatives to the millions of Ghanaians currently outside the formal financial system.
Equip all the banks and as well some regulators who are here like the SEC and the rest. And the purpose is to equip them to understand what the non-interest banking and finance is. At the end of the lesson, by the end of the 5-day class, what we intend to do is to teach them how to structure a product and some services. In terms of the capital market, those kind of capital market, we are taking them through the non-interest bond, which we call the sukuk, how they are going to structure it and the other products that we have as well. The central bank is ready. They've issued their 2026 guideline under the Bank of Ghana Act. And the guideline is there. All the banks have seen it, and all those that you've seen here, most of them are listing their boots to go for the alternative system. Of course, it's coming as an alternative system for the to complement the current system that we have. Non-interest bank is an alternative system that promote financial inclusion and help elevate people away from the poverty line.
Director General of Islamic Finance Research Institute of Ghana, Dr. Shaiba Ali speaking. Now, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Seaboard, has called for investigations into oil marketing companies selling fuel below the regulated floor price, warning that such practices may point to illegal activity. The move follows comments by the Chief Executive of Star Oil, who suggested his company could sell fuel at lower rates if not constrained by the floor price policy. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, introduced the floor price mechanism in 2024 to stabilize the market and prevent predatory pricing. Seaboard's Chief Executive, Dr. Patrick Ofori, urged regulators to take firm action against individuals engaged in what he described as unscrupulous practices in the sector.
While the floor price may be one of the mechanisms to avert some of these illicit activity and non-compliance within the sector, we push for the regulator to crack down on all those who have been found culpable of any of these illicit activities, be it selling of adulterated fuel or not providing a healthy occupational health standard for people who are working at the various filling stations and those who are in cahoots with any form of levies or any form of activities that prevent the tax authorities from assessing the right values of taxes or levies that is assigned to them. So I think it's a two-way approach that we all need to be honest and look at it objectively. Anybody who can boast of selling below the floor pricing needs to somehow be investigated in terms of how he's getting it. If you are selling at a cost, we need to find out how you are balancing the books to make the business profitable.
And that was the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Meanwhile, commenting on the availability of foreign exchange for the operations of its members, the Seaboard Chief Executive praised government's effort to ease the challenge. Dr. Patrick Ofori noted that the forex supply has improved over the past years following the introduction of the gold for oil policy, and he says it has helped stabilize the market and improved access for bulk oil distributors.
Predominantly, I would say yes, kudos to the Bank of Ghana and his team for that engagement that we having. Currently, we've sent out, we realized that at the beginning of the year, the demand has been relatively high. You check today, most of our members, the demand that we're looking for, the numbers that we're expecting were not necessarily adequate, but we are in touch with the central bank to ensure that subsequently we are able to provide them with the required data for the rest of the quarter so that they can come to the market with our demands. But we can confidently say that there isn't any cause for alarm for us to be scared of forest availability or inadequacy.
And you heard there the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Seaboard, Dr. Patrick Ofori, bringing an end to today's edition of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please check out our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend, and Black Rasta is on standby. Please stay tuned.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness.